gonna do our third release, and I do not have all this figured out yet. Sometimes I feel like I still have no idea what I'm doing. It's a different process every single time, but there's some things that I think that I'm taking away from this that I think apply to everything in life. And one of those big takeaways, and the biggest one that I want to give to you guys, is how important speed is. It's not about perfection, it's about how fast you can do something. Now you've got to have some level of standard and some level of quality with your work, but let me tell you what I mean by that. Let me dive into that a little bit. With our shirts, our very first shirts that we had, they were not perfect. A lot of the ink, you can see some of the ink washed out as you wash them, and they were not perfect shirts. I didn't have the money to make them perfect shirts. I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't have the assets, I didn't have a lot of the things to make them perfect, but we still went out and did it because that was part of the journey. If I would have waited until everything was perfect and lined up, until I could afford a 4-color press and a heat lamp, and all these different things, and the inks and better shirts, and there's so many different things that I could have waited for that would have delayed my release for probably 3 or 4 months. But instead, it's a learning journey, guys, and that's the biggest thing with this, is what this series is documenting it. It's showing you that we are human. We make these shirts. These shirts are not perfect, and the process and the journey that we've gone through is not perfect. Looking back, there's so many different things I would have changed, but at the same time, I wouldn't have changed a single one of them because I wouldn't be here where I'm at right now. I wouldn't be sitting on these tanks getting ready to release them. If I would have sat around and waited, I would not have had those initial sales, because once you have that momentum and once you get the intensity and you show people the process and you've got that momentum and people backing you, it's so much easier to get this journey going. It's so much easier than to keep promising people that there are big things coming or there's more shirts coming. So that was our very first release. And then from there, we went into... So let me start right there. With my first release, I made my own frames out of 2x4s and some cloth. That's what I used for my screens. I used this super cheap ink that I could find, and I used my oven. I used the oven to bake on this ink, which caused some of the shirts to get damaged. So I couldn't sell them. It caused the ink not to cure properly, and I couldn't put down more than 1 pass of ink because my screen and everything else would move on me. At the time, I also didn't have, I still don't have to this day, Photoshop, Illustrator, all that. I used my very basic iMovie. You don't need all the gadgets and gizmos to make things work. Just use what you have. So that was the first release. And the second release with the crew necks, I upgraded the inks, so the inks are a little bit better. We still use the oven. We still used GIMP, which is a free picture editing software. I still use iMovie to do all the promo shots for everything, and it came out pretty much the same. My images were a little bit higher quality because I upgraded my screens to be professional screens. And the sweatshirts turned out nicer, but yet again, we still had the issue with some of our stuff, some of the inks washing out, which is yet another issue that we were fighting. And again, they are not perfect. These were 1,000 times better than the t-shirts, though. These sweatshirts took a little bit different, and they were just overall a higher quality than the t-shirts. And now here we are, getting ready to release the tank tops, which are the highest quality thing that we have done yet. So now we've got professional screens, we've got a professional heat lamp that cures the ink to a specific temperature, and I can set all that. I've got an adhesive now that I can put down on my palette, and it holds the t-shirt in place so I can do more than 1 pass and make the inks darker and more durable. It's a learning process, and everything with these tanks, I don't have a single ounce of ink that is washed out through any of the wash tests. I don't have a single chip of ink that's peeling off or looks faded or anything like that for the men's or the women's. Higher quality ink, everything from start to finish is just so much higher quality. But it's still not perfect. I mean, I'm still using GIMP to edit my stuff. I'm still using iMovie. And I didn't have this setup that I'm using right now. Right now, this just came in the mail, which is this ring light, which, as you can see, illuminates my face, and it's just more directional lighting. So we can take better pictures, we can take higher quality pictures, but it's always improving. And this whole time, all profit and all the money that I had made from these shirts, I haven't spent an ounce on anything for us. The first thing that we bought the press, we bought the heat lamp, we bought this new light ring, we bought shirts, higher quality ink, higher quality screens. Every single ounce of money, every single cent that we have made off of this has been put right back into raising the quality, because we know it's not perfect. And we know that we're still not there yet. But each and every single iteration of this, we get a little bit better. We push the boundaries just a little bit more. And that's what it's all about. If I can really stress one thing, it's getting things done quickly without worried about perfection. Because while you're still sitting there trying to make perfect shirts and make everything work perfectly, I've already had 3 releases. I'm already 3 light years ahead of you. So don't wait around for everything to be perfect. And I know it sounds so easy and so cliche, but there's so much truth to it. And I cannot wait for these tanks to drop tomorrow.